All right, it's 11 o'clock and we are going to get started right away with Ignite Method, Module 3. Now, this one's called the Ignite Marketing Plan. I guess they all could be called that, right? But this is specifically about a marketing plan and how we're going to implement that, plan for it, and make money. A lot of what occurred to get us here today with you and our clients, our business itself is all built around a lot of the principles that we're sharing with you right now. So we look forward to sharing our secrets so that you can use them to benefit yourself and make yourself lots of money. That's the goal. So here we go, Module 3. Quickly, as you know, our workshop primer is just to give you some instructions on what to do during this period with us. And we just want you to ask your questions in Q&A as they come to mind, because we really just want you not to forget them. We want you to make notes or go ahead and just type them. We may not answer them as we go, but we'll definitely get to them. Now, remember, if you choose, you can make Q&A visible to me only if you don't want to expose who you are. I think we all know each other, but just so you know, chat is visible to all. So if you use the chat feature, which is different, everybody can see you. If you need me to stop, please ask. I would be more than happy to do so. My name is Eric Greenspan, and those of you that already know me, just ignore this slide. We're really excited because we just kind of re-released the concept of Ignite Method, and it's all about starting anytime. It doesn't matter if you start in Module 3 or Module 1. It's a cycle, and we're going to have multiple cycles. So for those of you that have never heard of who I am, my name is Eric Greenspan. I'm a dad. I'm an entrepreneur. I love marketing. I love cooking in a kitchen. When I was a kid, I loved Lego. I liked building. I've been to TED. I've run TED events. I'm a QuickBooks ProAdvisor because I wanted to make sure that I knew and understood what my customers expected of me. I need to learn what they do. I also am an Untitled hero. I love this product. So I was named a hero because of my commitment to it. You can learn more about me at ericgreenspan.com. Okay, so I asked these questions, and they're very important to get us started. Are you achieving all of your goals? What goals have you set for yourself this week? It's only Monday, I know. I'm in the market for a 75 to 85-inch television. That's one of my goals. I also want to sell 10 Ignite methods. So that is my goal for the week, and I will let you know how that went. And as far as good clients go, I actually let go of a client recently because I just didn't enjoy the experience. There was just too much of this and that and not what was important. So I let that client go, and that's okay because I have so many good ones that I really enjoy working with them and prefer not to work with clients that aren't what I would consider good. And as far as making enough money, I guess the answer to that is never, but there's a certain threshold where we are satisfied with life. You know, at least you're paying your bills and you've got good health insurance and can afford the things in life that are necessary. But don't you also want to see the world and upgrade to first class and enjoy benefits that other people can't enjoy because they're not willing to work for it? Well, you should. And are you having fun? Because it's all about doing what you love. If you don't do what you love, why bother? Ignite Method is all about finding ways to ignite you, ignite ourselves. You know, one of the benefits of presenting on topics like this is it gets me fired up too. I love talking about igniting people because it's, you know, I just feed off of it. So Ignite Method is a wonderful thing for me. It's a wonderful thing for you. And my goal is to help you reach new levels of happiness through generating more revenue, gaining great clients, and just living the life that you want to live. So let's talk about that. In our agenda, and I'm going to just kind of go through this stuff, and then I'm going to spend most of the time in demo mode. So I'm just going to let you know what our agenda is. We're going to focus on goals and making the plan. Then we're going to develop a marketing plan, and then we're going to talk about how we're going to implement this. And this will also play into our next module, which is marketing spaghetti, where we will actually use different types of marketing methods to test and generate results or not results, when to use them, how often to use them. That'll be a great event. So in goals and planning, we're going to talk a little bit about our money target. Like, what is your money target? How much money do you want to make? And let me just start by saying this. You can work backwards. You can figure out how much money you want at the end of your career that's sitting in the bank, providing you with the lifestyle that you want. And then you can factor in cost of living increases, unexpected expenses. So whatever it is, maybe triple it. And what the goal would be then is how can I live the life I want to live up to that point, then retire and have enough money or equity in a home or whatever it might be to be able to live the rest of my life at the same level, or at least a comfortable level where I can travel and see my kids and attend weddings and births of grandchildren and so on and so forth. And so that money target needs to be set in the big picture. You really need to figure out what you ultimately want when it's all over. Me, I've always thought 10 million would be enough. I've never shot for that. I've always shot for more. I've made more than $10 million in my life, but I haven't been able to retain the dollars that I want just yet. So I'm still working on my money target goals, and it's working nicely. And sometimes you get setbacks and you have to rebuild and regroup and rethink. So you've got to take all that into account as well. So set your money target. That's the first thing. So plan for what you think you want to make and then triple it. Now, beyond retirement, think about how much you want to make on a daily, weekly, monthly, and annual basis. It's really nice to say I'd like to make $200,000 a year, but does that afford you the proper living conditions that you need? You know, in this town where I live, it doesn't. You know, mortgage prices or rent is so extreme that, you know, you need to make at least double that in order to live a comfortable life. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true, but it's all relative. So, you know, if 60,000 gets you to your goals, 160,000 or 300,000, and those goals should be living healthy, being able to go where you want to go, eat what you want to eat, not be overly concerned about what the box of cereal costs. You know, if you want something, you should be able to get it. If you want to eat organic food that costs more from the farmer's market, you should be able to afford that. Healthcare, travel. You don't need to upgrade to first class, but if you can get a good deal on it, you should want to. And you should be able to pay for that upgrade, which could be $50 to maybe $300 without questioning it. You need to set a target in your mind of what doesn't matter money. And what I mean by that is, if you get a ticket, that ticket could be for $100. If that bothers you, then you need to work towards getting to a higher threshold. And that number for me is $500. Anything over $500 is like an ouch, and anything below, it's kind of like whatever. Not whatever. I mean, I care, but it is what it is. You know, when my kids have hockey and it's $475 or $495, I feel better than when it's $550 or $600, and certainly better than when it's $1,000. I'd like to get to the point where spending $1,000 doesn't faze me. So money targets are important, and you have to continue to raise the bar so that you put yourself at a level that you can actually achieve. And you have to start at a level that you can achieve and then reach that next goal. And then you need to think about, how hard are you willing to work? Workload is a big one. Do you want to work 14, 16 hours a day like I do? You know, do you want your children to say, why weren't you there, Dad or Mom? I don't want mine to say that. I work a lot, but I work a lot so that I can be there at their events as needed. And then there's systems so that I can work while I'm in a hotel room when I'm at a hockey tournament for my children. I can go to their events, I can have lunch, but then I can go back to my office because I have good systems and I can work, not my office, my hotel room, or anywhere for that matter, and get the job done. So those things are very important in setting your goals. And you need to make sure that you give this some serious thought. We're going to talk more about this as we develop our plan in just a bit. And then develop the plan, okay? And I'm not going to go into detail here because we're actually going to do this in a moment, and I'll explain more about that. And then we are going to talk about implementing it so that you can actually generate money from your plan and put it into action. Okay, so we have our demo. in developing a marketing plan for your company, there's a lot of things that you need to take into account. And, you know, it's generally, people spend too much time thinking about this and not enough time doing it. I don't want you to spend a lot of time on your marketing plan. I want you to spend time using it. So I'm going to give you the tools and the ideas and kind of the overview, and then I'm going to literally give them to you so that you can take it and use it for yourself. And we're going to go through that in a moment. So, but these are typically the things that you're trying to deal with when you're developing a marketing plan. And this is a marketing plan for life. Either you don't have enough clients or you simply don't have enough cash flow. I mean, it all comes down to money, right? Or you're not making enough profits. Pricing, very, very important. You're working way too hard for the value of the return. And your clients are just beating you up and bringing you down. It's just not, you know, they're not making you happy and excited to go to work the next day. So we're going to work on those types of things through building a marketing plan that achieves a certain level of success so that we don't have those experiences. So then we take into account what we do have, and you may or may not have a strong client base. You may have, you know, yourself or the people that you work with. If you're just getting started, it's just you may be well educated, but you may not necessarily have a lot of experience or certifications, or maybe you have certifications but not a lot of experience, or maybe you have plenty of experience but you just don't have the clients. Whatever the assets that you do have, we want to build on them. And you could have any one of these or more. Hopefully by the end of Ignite, you're going to have more of them than you did before. And the goal is ultimately to have them all. You want to have a strong client base, and you want to continue educating yourself. Education is going to lead to power, and it's going to lead to confidence, which that changes everything. Certifications can add value there as well. They can help you with sales. People like to work with people that have things up on their wall and on their website. It shows that you're able to finish what you start. Doesn't necessarily mean you know what you're doing, but it is a good thing. But real experience, when you can speak to it, when you've been there, when you've gone through it before, is really ultimately one of the best things. So it does take time. And then having systems to get it all done and do it right. This is really a big thing, because at the end of the day, what we want you to be able to maximize your time enjoying your life and automate whatever possible. So the solution to building your future is starting off with marketing. And a marketing plan, as we're calling it, or what we're calling this is an Ignite marketing plan, involves more than just marketing. It's a comprehensive solution that includes marketing, technology, and automation. So we're first going to focus on building the brand, and we're talking about a variety of different techniques to do that, which we're going to go over in a moment. And then we need to talk about technology. And if you shy away from technology, you're not going to be able to work with us, because we are very focused on using technology to help build your brand, help build your business, and help build you. Technology is very important. And if you don't agree with me, that's okay. You're wrong. And the reason why I say that is because it's not whether or not you believe in technology. It's whether or not you believe in competition. And the competition does believe in technology, and they're using technology to move faster. All the talk today is on AI, artificial intelligence, and machine language and machine thinking. And while that may sound scary to you, you cannot necessarily compete in a world where there are people that are using automated systems that are doing things 2-3 times faster than you are. You know, the first IBM computer that was used at NASA way back when is less powerful than most of the devices that are in the palm of our hand today. So if you don't agree with me, buy an Apple Watch, and you'll understand a little bit better. And if you still don't agree with me after buying the Apple Watch, then let me teach you how to use it. Where I'm going with all this, folks, is technology is here to stay, and we have to embrace it. A friend of mine wants to become a psychiatrist, and I told her that if I were helping her, I would advise her to build a remote practice, meaning all of her sessions are online. And the reason why I feel so strongly about this is because I know from going to family therapy with my children or any other types of therapy, we haven't gone very much, but when we do go, it's kind of a grind to get there. You know, it's that you've got school, you've got events, you've got sports, you've got work, you've got every other thing, right? And now you've got to get to therapy, and they're never in the easiest place to get to, and it's always kind of a fuss, and you know, it's just, wouldn't it be great if you could just get therapy whenever you need it by logging in? So keep that in mind, okay? Technology and automation is very important. All right, so we are going to focus first on marketing, and you'll see that the technology and the automation piece will just kind of all flow into that. And we're going to talk about planning first. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring us up what I call, this is a marketing development tool. Marketing diagram development tool. It allows us to lay out the plan in a way that's useful for us to see it. And what I've done is I've been using this plan for quite some time, and I've broken it into 6 parts so that I can take you through it so you can understand it and implement the pieces that make sense to you. So it begins with online. Naturally, big focus these days. And I'm going to tell you right now that it does not matter if you actually are able to embrace online, if you get online. It doesn't really matter if you use traditional marketing methods. You can do a variety of different things. All I'm going to tell you is this. Online, while you know it's hard to dispute that it's easier, more affordable, reaches more people, but what it's really done is it's removed the audience from so many other platforms. Now, that could be a good thing. Using online marketing and tools and social media and ads and email and what have you can and cannot be a great thing, because there are opportunities now with the empty mailbox that's sitting out in front of your home or apartment or wherever you live. And the mailbox that sits out there that once had so many pieces of mail is kind of lonely. So maybe there's opportunity there. Now, that said, what do people look at? What do people read? I mean, I've gotten to the point now where I won't even bother looking at what's in the mailbox. I'll scan for envelopes that I recognize, that I know are important. Most of them go to my mailbox at the UPS store. And beyond that, I just throw it away. You know, there's a couple of coupons I look for each month, the pizza company here in town. But beyond that, I don't look. So, you know, there are arguments both ways. Now, there are yellow pages sitting out on top of our mailbox right now. And I'm going to tell you that I will never use a yellow pages again, other than maybe to put in the car for one of my kids to sit on. The yellow pages is something I spent a lot of money on. I was in 26 books throughout Southern California and spent a lot of money on it. And while it was the bread and butter that once built our company, I'll never forget the day that we decided to completely eliminate it. And that was a big change for us, because we moved away from something that was working to try something new. And we just didn't want to spend the money anymore because we saw declining results. Now, online advertising, there's a way, the beautiful thing about it is that it's constantly changing, and you can constantly change it. When you print your yellow page ad, it's out there for the next year, okay? When you do an online ad, you can change it every 10 minutes or even more often than that. So I'm just going to tell you that when it comes to flexibility, functionality, and reach, online advertising is a great opportunity. The problem is it is already such a noisy environment, and being able to get people's attention requires you to be clever, and requires you to be on top, and requires you to invest in time and commitment and do it right, and testing. You've got to test your ads and see which ones work, and then make ones better than the last. So in terms of social media marketing, which is where a lot of people focus their energy because there's very low cost. Twitter is free, Facebook is free. There are so many great ways for you to go out and find customers right now. And you don't necessarily have to do anything yourself in terms of building your own page or group. Now, I do, and I've got a lot of different Facebook pages and groups. And for those of you that know about Abo, you know that Abo is actually a big part of our business model, because all of the members in Abo will in turn at some point either join schoolofbookkeeping.com or become a client of 74 Systems. A lot of you have found us through that. And that is our group. And I'm the only guy in that group, and I own the group, that is not an accounting professional, so to speak. I'm a marketing guy, get it? So while you can build a group like that, that takes time and you have to find the right focus. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day about building a Facebook group for their contractor-focused bookkeeping services business. And they said to me, I just don't think that anybody who's out doing, you know, field work, contractors, what have you, is spending as much time on Facebook as accounting professionals. And you know what? They're right. You want to find people that do spend time on Facebook, because those are the kinds of people that you are going to be able to get their attention, because you're going to get them to engage. You need people to engage. So while social media marketing can work for you, it does require commitment, intelligent thinking. You have to pick the right type of entity to go after, if it's Facebook groups, or if it's something along the lines of Twitter. You need to be able to engage with your audience. You know, we're going to talk a lot more about this in our next module, which is Marketing Spaghetti, where we're going to talk about which one of these does what and how to pick one. So I'll save the details for that. But for now, definitely start thinking about how you're going to embrace social media marketing. It's simply, I think, a waste not to start using this technology as soon as possible and start building an audience, because down the road, it's only going to help you. Now, interestingly enough, that social media presence leads to email campaigns, because a lot of people, if you follow me and School of Bookkeeping and 74 and Ignite, you see constantly us pushing out content about today's event. If you were to go to Abo right now, for example, you'd see that in Abo, right at the top, we are marketing today's event so that more people will sign up for Ignite. And so this group, 7,200 plus members, are seeing this right here, and eventually they'll become interested and hopefully join. So, you know, it takes time, but once you get something going like that, it really, really starts to work. Okay, so, but what happens with all of that is, and if you go through Abo further, you can see the posts that we put in here from time to time. So this right here, designing your social media profile and cover images, we posted that it's now available in recorded events. Prior to that, we posted that it was available to be viewed live. So what's really neat about that is people will click on this link and it will take them to that page on School of Bookkeeping. And if they're not a member, they'll have to become a member to log in or to get access to it. So that is how you get people from social media to go to your website and inevitably either fill out a pop-up with their email address so that they can receive emails from you on a newsletter type thing, which is drip and nurture. You want to, once you get people in there, you want to keep sending them stuff that is interesting to them. So now that they've gone to Abo, joined Abo, your social media group, right, on Facebook, and then they clicked on a link and went to your website and they gave you your email, their email address, and you've been sending them emails over the course of the last few months. Now they sign up for your service, and it takes maybe 4 or 5 emails, and then the emails are now advertising your events. So now they've gone full circle. They're back into your website to view an event that you have later on, and then that becomes a cycle where they just continue to embrace the information that you're providing. And as long as you provide something of value, this cycle works beautifully. And then there's the online ad. And this is where it gets a little bit precarious. Now, the online ads can be very dangerous. You can spend a lot of money on AdWords and get yourself in a whole heap of trouble if you don't caution how you spend. It is very important that you do some testing with small amounts. Now, it's kind of a funny thing because it seems in this game of online advertising that the more money you spend, the more they seem to give to you, so to speak, right? You get their attention. Well, so you've got to find a threshold and you've got to set a budget, and you can't just leave it. You've got to stay on it and watch it like crazy. Now, that said, you also need to let it run. You can't turn on an ad and then disband it within a day or two and say it didn't work. You've got to give it some time. So it's very important, and we'll talk more about that in Marketing Spaghetti as well, how you're going to do that. Right now, we're building a plan. So out of these three things, pick one, maybe two, and I'm guessing these two, social media and email campaigns, that are going to be part of your future plan. And then you can move this one off to the side or mark it not something you're interested in at this point. Let's move on to step two. Step two adds another area for your marketing plan, and these are events. And so in the events area, this is very important because there's events where you attend, and then there's events where you may actually be the speaker. And obviously, people attending your events as you being the prominent figure at the event is going to be very beneficial for you. So your goal should be becoming a speaker at industry events. The more events that you speak at, the more your brand is going to become established. Now, I do these, and to be very honest with you, I'm not overwhelmingly excited about doing it because our brand is building and pretty much people know who we are. And I find that it really costs a lot of my time and energy to do these types of events. And I have other techniques that work better, but I'm further along. In the beginning, this would have been a way to get started. Now, if you're thinking of going to QuickBooks Connect so that you can speak and your business is competing with the people in the audience, please don't bother. Please don't spend your money going to an event to speak and your dollar on your time, loss of revenue, to speak to people who are your competition. It's completely the opposite. The logic is not clear here. You must focus on events where people in the audience could potentially be your customer. So going to QuickBooks Connect for learning and making friends and having fun maybe, but if you're going there because you want to pick up customers and your customers are the same customers that everybody else in the audience seek, please be aware of that reality and plan accordingly. Now, for most of you, getting started with local events, I would recommend. And local events allow you the ability to network. If you go to a local event, I don't care who it is or what it is, what they do or how they do it. Whatever the event, as long as it's not a bunch of accounting professionals sitting in the audience, you're there talking about some sort of a strategy or some sort of a thing that you've learned that helps business owners, and you're a guest at a local event, and there's only 20 people in the room. A, you're going to get to speak to all of them. B, they're local, so they're probably more interested in actually working with you. And C, there's not as much going on. There's not as much noise. So a local event, particularly a smaller one like a meetup or a tech brew or whatever it is that you know about in your area, if you can get yourself in front of it, and if you can't find a way to get onto the list of speakers for a local event, then have your own. All you need to do is go to meetup.com and start your own. You can do just about anything. In Santa Barbara area, there's Toastmasters. I actually sent somebody here once to help them with their speaking. It helped a little bit, not much. There's all kinds. We've got pride groups. We've got sports groups. We've got other sports and enthusiast groups, tech. I mean, all these different groups, and you can start one. I've done a dozen of these different ones. And in fact, I was on Food Network with a group of guys. We started a group called the Super Friends of Santa Barbara. And it was a bunch of CEOs in town. They found us and asked us to be on a glamping episode. CEOs glamping and being cooked for by chefs. You never know what might happen, but you do know what will happen if you do nothing. So going to meetups where people are and there's energy, whether you go to one, speak at one, or host one so you can get the best of all worlds, get busy. This stuff is awesome, and this is just the beginning of it. All right, number 3, video. Now, I'm making a video as we speak. This video, when we're done, will become part of our recorded events on Ignite Method. And we've been working hard on that. You can see on our homepage, we've just launched a newer, better looking means to get to our modules. You'll see these two will be coming up here. I just haven't added the images. But if you click on any one of these now, you can actually go and you can actually watch. Well, I'm not logged in, so I can't. But if I was logged in, I would be able to view this and start watching it right now. So I am creating a video as we speak. And the beauty of Ignite Method is while I'm providing this content to you live, I'm also creating a video that you can watch later, or I can sell, as you saw, at a discount as a recorded video only. And the people that are going to watch it recorded, while that may or may not work for them, there's a certain sector out there that will. But what's even cooler is I can take segments of this video and make marketing snippets out of it and put it out on YouTube to draw attention to Ignite Method. So anytime you're doing something like this, record. This weekend, I have a client who I did some work for, and to explain the work I did for the client, I actually did a quick screen recording and explained it to them. Now, I could do the exact same screen recording and put it out on YouTube or up on schoolofbookkeeping.com to show people how to do what it was I was doing. And if you ever go to schoolofbookkeeping.com and you click on from the home page, go to services, or you can go into the hub and go to courses. I've created a course called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, Learn It. And this course has become things that I don't know where to put them, but they're videos of value. Know your colors and how to edit an image in Photoshop and how to resize a video after you record it on Zoom or go to webinar. These are things that I think people are interested in. So I created a course called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And at any time, I can put a quick video in there and gain more content for my site or marketing fodder. So video, whether it be webinars like we're doing right now or stuff that you would post onto YouTube, over 500,000 views on our YouTube channel already, almost 3,000 followers. So we're building fast over there. Now that's our public side of things, and I don't produce a lot of content for it because most of our stuff is private, but I could take a lot of our private content and, as I mentioned earlier, edit it and make marketing videos and give people a taste of it and post it up there. So video is very powerful and it's reusable. And then that goes back to social media marketing and email campaigns, because you can share all of this that you post here, that you create here. You create it here, you post it here, you share it here, and you present it here. See how it's all starting to work together? Let's move on to number 4. Then there's the web. Now, naturally, at the end of the day, everything flows back to your website, as I've shown you. And creating a website and building a website is important. But I'm going to tell you this. I would spend more money or more time on making your website work, functional, than I would on making it beautiful. Ignite Method, while it's starting to get, we just took away that cool banner and we're working on, we'll have an image up here later. If you go to School of Bookkeeping and you go to the home screen, you'll see we've made some pretty big changes there. We now have some sliders with people. And when you see something like this, while as nice as it is, what's really functional is this piece we put in. People love this. Everything you need as a member, once you're logged in, to be able to access all of our content is always from this little button right here with the little hamburger in it. Yeah, they call that a hamburger. So building a website that works, I mean, this image was, part of my Adobe membership. All of them are. And it makes the website look great and a cool looking logo, but it takes time to build it. But what's really important is this, getting people to subscribe here and getting people to subscribe on School of Bookkeeping and getting people to join and actually starting a free trial and signing up for your services. Those kinds of things are what make your business work. And if you take this thing over to 74 Systems and take a look there, you'll see very similar thing. But the thing about 74 Systems that we push so much is we're always trying to get people to start off by scheduling a free consultation. And if you pick June 30th, continue, you're going to be asked a series of questions. And each one of these questions is going to allow us to vet you. And I notice right here, we need to change a student meet to School of Bookkeeping. So I'm glad I did that. But you'll see I ask questions that are specific, and based on the answers, I know what actions to take and how to process an interested prospect and try to convert them into a lead or into a client. And this is exactly what we do all day long. And if they're not interested, then they won't bother. So if somebody takes the time to fill out this free consultation and meets with us, very likely they're going to become our customer, and eventually they're going to go and sign up for Ignite. Okay, and all of this is automated. This is all done by the end user, by the customer themselves. If you want to subscribe and become a daily member, you just click on Buy Now, and it takes you right there, and off you go. Okay, so you've got lots of thinking to do in terms of what you want to build out in your website. But what's most important is that you think about automated scheduling that eliminates the expense related to having an employee do that, or worse, having you do it for peanuts per month. You could be free up to a certain point. And how you want to, just this morning, one of my clients added me to their MailChimp account so that I could add a MailChimp capture on their website, because grabbing email addresses is probably the most important thing a website can do. Now, why would somebody want to come to that website in the first place? Well, because you're sharing the content either you've produced on YouTube and embedded onto your site. And then when you put that content, whether it's a post or it's a YouTube embedded video, you're sharing that through social media and email, but eventually it's all coming back, not to YouTube. YouTube, some people will find it because that's the second biggest search engine, but these shares are inevitably coming back to your website. That's where you want people to come to, because that's where they're going to click on schedule a free consultation or buy my services. Now, the YouTube video also has links in the description to tell them who you are, and obviously branding. So when you go to YouTube, they know who you are. Let's see which one this will log in as. Okay, so it logged in as School of Bookkeeping. So if you go and you watch Mike Michalowicz over here, you'll notice, I won't even let him start. So Mike is about ready to start. I'll do him a favor and get him off that screen. That's a better one. Okay, so you can see here, I haven't updated these yet, and I will be shortly. I'm just rewriting some of the content. But what's inside of this YouTube description is this. And it has links to, which will soon be updated to this, schoolofbookkeeping.com. My autofill did that. So now when somebody watches this video of Mike talking about schoolofbookkeeping.com, they're actually going to be able to click on this link, which again, the point I was making earlier is YouTube can bring them here, but I can also take that video and simply embed it onto schoolofbookkeeping.com and have both. So I have content on my website and on YouTube. So once you're creating content, and again, writing blog posts is great, and you can also embed videos into those blog posts, then you want to share it. And there are a number of ways of manual sharing, and there are a number of ways of automatic. And you want to be careful with these, because one is engaging and one is just kind of marketing automation. So you want to share your content over and over again, but you also want to make sure that you're able to engage with people. And we'll talk more about that in Marketing Spaghetti. All right, number 5, traditional, local ads. Imagine that. Could you imagine a local ad? I can't remember the last time I've done one. One of the best local ads I ever did was in the newspaper advertising for Friends of the Shafted. It was an event that we did for people that were, it was a Forbes article that gave us the name. It was a story on our company, different company long ago, that helped folks that were in retirement that got sold bad securities by their stockbrokers. And so we hosted this event. We put a big ad in the paper. 85 people showed up, and we made a lot of money that day and helped a lot of people. But the best thing about the ad was they messed it up. It was botched. The newspaper company misprinted it. And that's why so many people saw it. I begged them to do it again. They wouldn't. So local ads can be very effective. I've done a lot of local advertising, a lot of local advertising that has led to bringing people to local events or webinars or whatever. I could go put an ad in our local Santa Barbara News Press right now, inviting them to come to our webinars, and quite a few people probably would respond. Okay. Radio, this is a big one, and you don't want to go at this or television alone. Here's the thing. There are TV shows that people don't record, can't record. And there are TV shows that are local, like the news, local news stations, that I think are very effective. And then the ones that they can record that are all over the cable channels and on your Apple TVs and your Chrome devices and what have you. While they may be able to fast forward and skip and this and that, they're becoming better at not allowing that to happen. Netflix and some of the other Hulus out there are making it so that they actually are kind of forced to watch the commercials. So those are better. But even so, I mean, doing television advertising can be great, but you obviously have to have the budget. I did radio, a lot of it. And ironically, I'm a very cutting edge guy. I love technology. And when I met a person who advised me on radio, the advice was as follows. We're going to use AM radio in Los Angeles and have all of your ads be live endorsements from the talent on the station. And I'll never forget how many people would say to me, oh yeah, such and such told me to call you. And I would think, no, they didn't. I told you to call me. I paid that guy to say that. That's radio, and that's what it's all about. Now, the good news is that most of the radio talents are out there won't take you if they don't believe in you, because they've got a reputation to uphold. But once you get in, and you usually can, unless you're selling something that is harmful to either their station or whatever it might be, once you get in, they will usually go above and beyond because they want to keep you as an advertiser, because that's how they get paid. So if you do radio, doing local ads could be great. You could do, my brother used to do a money minute when he was a stockbroker. As a bookkeeping professional or a tax advisor, you can do something on the radio where you do small business accounting tips 101 and do a minute, and you just talk about something new and cool related to how a small business can save money or make more money or run their books better or access mobile or whatever it might be. That could be really useful too. So I'm not going to tell you that radio and television and local ads should be taken off the table. Quite frankly, I think they can be very useful. I don't use them as often anymore because they're not as much fun. I enjoy the other process. And all these other things are really connected together, literally. These are too, because somebody will go to your website, but these are literally click and go to your website. So something to consider. And then finally, number 6, as we're going to talk about in our next module, marketing spaghetti. There's a bunch of stuff, and so when I made this some time ago, I talked about this being 10% of your budget, and now I'm kind of talking this to be more of everything we do, because it's all marketing spaghetti. You never know what's going to work, what you're good at. Some people are good at video. Some people are good at public speaking. Some people have a lot of friends and can get onto venues. Some people don't. Some people are great at Twitter but can't do Facebook. Some people have no idea how to build an email list and don't want to. Other people are actually great at writing AdWords or Facebook campaigns and so on. So we are going to do spaghetti testing. And it is going to be 100% of our budget. And that is the future. I am going to look at everything on this list as spaghetti going forward. And what I mean by that is spaghetti is what you throw on the wall, right? When you cook it and you hope it sticks. We just did a webinar on School of Bookkeeping. And it was called, believe it or not, let's go to recorded webinars. And it was called Throwing Pasta on the Wall. So this is very similar to what we're going to be talking about in the module, but this just kind of scratches the surface. Okay, so that covers building the marketing plan, and then you're going to pick which ones of these you want to do. Now I'm going to switch back to our complete plan. You'll notice I have to change this to 100%. So I took that plan and I took a screenshot and I put it into my Keynote. And so I keep everything together. And now I'm going to go through and talk about more of the details. Now we've talked about this stuff. I'm not going to actually go through this again with you, but what I've done is I've taken what I did here as a layout tool and I broke it apart. So as you can see, here's the first piece. Let me go back. So I'm going to start with website in this case. I'm starting here. I'm not sure if it goes in cycle or not, but notice it's blue and I move on to blue. And I'm going to break this apart so that I can give it some thought. And what I did is I took, and I'll give you this, of course, I took this and I made some bullet points on some of the things that need to happen in order to build a proper website. This is definitely something that I'm going to do. As far as content creation, this is definitely something that I'm going to do. We don't use ghostwriters. You can. And then as far as content sharing, I do all three of these things. Now, you can take this slide and you can detail whatever it is you want on here. And what I'm saying is, and I'll give you these in PowerPoint format for those of you that don't use Mac, but you can go in here and you can talk about automated sharing and you can put different tools that you want to try. CoSchedule, Sprout Social, Hootsuite. Those are three right there. And then timed sharing is, this is building a marketing calendar, often called an editorial calendar. And then manual sharing is just go for it. Have every app needed on your devices. So the beauty of this is it's going to give you an opportunity to be able to lay out the ideas and things that you want to use and try, and then you continue to move on to the next. So as you can see, we've got, okay, so we're working backwards. So, you know, I probably should reorder these for you. I think I will do just that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the light table, and we're going to start with yellow. We'll move yellow up here. And then we'll go to green. And see, what I'm illustrating right now is the reason why I use these types of tools is it allows me to work in a way where I can visually recognize and understand what it is I'm doing. And then I can continue. So now we've got orange and then spaghetti testing. Okay, perfect. And then while I've got you, I'm going to take this new piece. I'm going to export it. Now this is called Lucid Chart, and I do recommend it. It's a wonderful, wonderful piece of software. It's online. And I'm going to download that piece. And then I'm going to replace this one so that it now says 100%. It does. Perfect. See how that worked? So now it's updated and everything is in order. Okay, so now I'll go back to play. So the idea here is using these types of tools allow you to be very flexible and allow you to see what it is you're planning to do. Now I'm going to go back to that light table because it's not something I do a lot. This is a newer feature. And I'm going to make it bigger. And this is a great way to see your slides. And I'm going to bring it up to here because that's what we're working on. So if you look at social media marketing and email campaigns, you may decide that you're going to do this, you're going to do this, but you're going to skip online ad campaigns. So in Keynote, you can do this in PowerPoint. I can right click and say skip slide. That slide turns off. And I'm not going to do any industry events this year. So I'm going to skip that slide. And I'm definitely doing these things and these things and these. I'm not going to do any local ads. I might do some radio, no TV. So now I've got a marketing campaign that looks kind of like that. And now I can go in and build out these, and I can add more slides on the things that I want to do. And I can talk about things like, let's duplicate this slide. And then we'll go in and edit it. And we'll talk about social media marketing types. And let's talk first about Twitter, and then we'll talk about Facebook. And I'm going to do Facebook groups, and then I'm going to talk about Facebook pages, and then I'm going to talk about Facebook me, and then we'll talk about LinkedIn and Google Plus. Okay, so I just added something to this, and in Twitter we can talk about high engagement is required, Facebook groups, build one that many will join to openly discuss topics, and be sure they can become your customer, not your competition. And then Facebook pages, these are really just places to share your content. So by getting people to like your page, when you share content on Facebook, they're going to see it. It's going to get put in their feed. So get them to like your page, give them a reason, give them good content, and ask them. And then Facebook Me, or your personal profile, is the most important of them all. You must cross the chasm of personal and business if you wish to see a high rate of success with Facebook. So if Facebook to you is very personal and you don't want to use it for this purpose, that's fine. If Facebook to you is very personal and you want to use it for business and you're not willing to cross the chasm, then you're probably going to have a second profile. If you're willing to cross the chasm, which is my recommendation because you don't want to manage more than one, you should literally, and I don't think you're allowed to have more than one, although a lot of people do. But I'm not going to advise you on that one way or the other. My advice to you is to cross the chasm. Facebook is great, and you can, specify what people can see what. But at the end of the day, if you want to build your business, I have a lot of friends on Facebook, and most of my clients come from some sort of a relationship with me on Facebook or Twitter, Facebook being by far the most. LinkedIn, I'm just going to say I have no idea. I just don't use LinkedIn for marketing. A lot of people say they do. I think if you're just, I know the audience that we have here, unless you're really versed on it, you can do a lot of the same kind of things as you can do with Facebook groups. But to me, LinkedIn I don't think it's a great place to spend your energy if you only have so much time. And I will address that further in a future webinar or future Ignite module as well. And Google Plus, post away, as Google owns Google Plus, right? They also own YouTube. So the more you post, the better. But engagement is usually light and often overlooked. People typically spam on Google Plus, and there are some people that use it well, but it's just kind of a flawed design. So I recommend that you post everything to Google Plus regardless, and that you make sure you have a Google Plus account. We are going to be doing this event, and you really should attend it because it's going to approach this part of it. Come in, we're open, marketing, Google tools for marketing. This is part of your schoolofbookkeeping.com membership if you have one. And and we'll talk about this, but this is about using the Google business tools to set up your presence for maps and local search and Google Plus brand pages and YouTube and all the different things that Google offers. Because if they're the search directory, you want to be there, and you want to be there with bells on, if you will. Okay, so we can keep going on all of this, but I really want you to. So I'm going to post this in the forums as a PowerPoint and a Keynote that you'll be able to edit. And I'd like for you to take, and you won't necessarily be able to edit this slide. I will send it to you in a PDF. I could share it to you on Lucid Chart. Let me look into that. I don't know if that's going to be financially doable, but I will check it out. If any of you are really interested in getting access to it and you're willing to get your own Lucid Chart account, I can give you the file so you can edit it. I love this product. I use it for all sorts of things where it comes to layout. And once you get this visual layout and then going in and building in the detail using Keynote, there's lots of different ways you can do things like this, but I love these tools. And it's, stuff like this, when you can lay things out in a light table and see the big picture, it really helps achieve the goal. Okay, so let's go to talk a little bit about spaghetti testing. And this is an interesting slide because we're going to do this in our next module. And I changed gears from looking at spaghetti testing to being a small portion to really being everything we do. That was a recent change. And the idea here is that you have to look at it as to how well it's going to work, but not just how well it's going to work, but how well is it going to work for you. You're not going to do well with marketing if you're not enjoying it. If you don't like to write, you're not going to do well with blog posts. If you're afraid of being on camera, stay away from the videos. If you're scared to death to walk up on stage, let's fix that problem. Because all of this can be solved. All of the things that I mentioned are confidence, and we can conquer them. But I want you to do the things that you're comfortable with first, and I want you to become great at them. And then once you do that, you step up to the next part. I don't want you to become overwhelmed in the beginning. When I worked at IBM, I was told to sell a computer first before I could sell more than one or larger ones. And I did. And the reason was because my boss wanted me to get my feet wet so that I wouldn't go up against the wall when I got denied. If somebody said no to a big sale, I wouldn't have the experience of knowing what it's like to close a deal at a lower level. So it's important that you start somewhere where you can achieve some results. So we're going to talk about that in our next module specifically and really, really get into how these methods can work for you as individuals. All right, I want to talk a little bit about the technology side of it. And it's really important with marketing that you don't throw a bunch of spaghetti on the wall and start getting the phone to ring and the email box to fill, and then later find out, sadly, that you didn't have the systems or the technology to be able to capture the information that you needed. I was talking to a client the other day on Zoom, and we were on video, and I kid you not, she told me that she had a lead and started looking around on her desk for the scrap of paper that the lead was on, and she couldn't find it. She could not find the lead. Now, for some of you, maybe you don't lose things, but why not at least take a picture of it, put it in your phone, and have it go up to iCloud or wherever your pictures go? Well, she didn't. Now, beyond that, where I really want you to focus is not so much the missed opportunities, but being able to build some flow and some systematic procedures to make your day smooth and to make the experience for both you and the prospect good. And that is involving how you capture their data, how you market to them, and how you close and convert them into a customer. And there's a number of different ways that we do that here at 74 Systems. And one of those is by using tools like Insightly. And while we're not going to take you through a complete Insightly overview, there is a number of them. In fact, there's a great one that we just recently did on schoolofbookkeeping.com where you can watch how to use Insightly for running an accounting practice. And A lot of my clients use it. We use it ourselves because it's a nice base platform. But the concept that I want you to take away from this is I want to make sure you have something where you can manage capturing leads, keeping records of your conversations, converting those leads into prospects, and then best manage the projects. And Insightly lets you do all of that, which is pretty neat. Next, they become a client, and now you've got projects to deal with, and you've got to onboard them, okay? So we've got a system for that through PandaDoc, and I'm more than happy to show anybody any of this. But again, all of this is part of our content over on schoolofbookkeeping.com. If you're not a member over there, you really should be, because the two sites work so well together. But beyond that, the client management concept is when you onboard a new customer, you want that to be fast, efficient, easy, and you don't want to lose them. It's like catching a fish. You want to make sure the line is strong enough and that you get them into the boat and they don't flip-flop around and back into the water. You want to get people closed and starting to pay. So the onboarding process is very important. There's a product called PandaDoc that lays on top of Insightly that does this beautifully. Our Ignite program customers, we actually build this for you, and it works just smashingly well. And then you manage your tasks and your groups of tasks through the project system inside of a tool like Insightly or whatever your choice is. And you manage your communication through there, and you can also manage payment through some sort of a system that will allow you to automate it and get paid on a regular basis. Now, more importantly, I have a client who has a lot of customers, and they bill on the 25th of every month. And I said, what does that mean? So we spend the whole day on the 25th putting together all the invoices. I'm like, really? I have about 30 people plus, well, actually there's hundreds, that pay us daily or monthly, but they come in every day automatically, and I don't lift a finger. So building like many of you, those of you that know about this, for those of you that are on the payment plan or that you're in Ignite, you know exactly how this works. And we don't do that for any other reason than we don't want to sit and focus on that. We want to focus on spending our time working with our clients and not dealing with having to take a day off and invoice people. It just doesn't make sense. Not to mention, we handle our cash flow much better this way, and we charge in advance rather than in arrears, so we're better off, and everybody stays focused. So it's really, really important that you develop these systems. And that whole thing about technology really plays into automation. And we talked a little bit about calendaring, and this is my favorite. A lot of you know this. Any of you that have made appointments with me, you know that we have a built-in calendaring system. And we switched calendaring tools from Schedule Once to Acuity because of one reason and one reason only. Acuity has native support for Zoom. So when you go in and you schedule an appointment with us and you're asked the series of questions, which is part of our onboarding, all of that data goes directly into Insightly. So we know who you are, what you're all about, what you said on the questions. And then that adds it to both of our calendars with a systematic way so that if we need to reschedule or cancel, we both can. It's on our calendars so we know that we're supposed to be there. And the best part is it has a link to Zoom for the session that we're going to use for our meeting. And if you reschedule or I reschedule, it changes the Zoom time as well. That is just wonderfulness in every way, shape, and form. That is an employee in the past and not anymore. And that makes us a lot more profitable, and it makes life easy. Orders and payment through the website. Everybody here who has paid for any of our stuff knows exactly what we're talking about. You can build those systems into your website with ease. With ease. Merchant payment, merchant services, the whole 9 yards can be built with ease. We even have tools to automate the process of matching transactions, bill payments, and deposits. And then the self-serve account management piece is so important because, if you need to book an appointment with us for an Ignite session, I don't want to have to send you the link. I don't want to have to, You know, I see people log into our website all the time, and I know why they're doing it, because they're going in to get into the 74 hub so that they can access either filling out a form that we sent them. We send out forms when we build a website, and it gathers information and automatically puts all that information into custom fields in Untitled, so we know who your registrar is and what your domain name is and your username to log in, and whatever other information, bios and descriptions and everything else we need, your colors. We have all that information so we can do a really good job. You help us do a great job, and that's really cool. And we use things like Slack to communicate. I saw today one of our clients gave us their hex colors and some RGB colors in Slack. And you know, Angela will take that because she's working on it, and she'll put that into the custom field called colors under that client's Untitled record so that we all have access to it in the future. So all of that type of stuff really makes for a better experience and speeds up the process, because if you're on a webinar like I am right now and everything's shut off, you've got clients that are able to schedule appointments. If somebody can't make my visit with me today, they can reschedule. They don't need to get access to me. They have full access to me regardless. Email automation. You know, it's interesting from a perspective of marketing. You can set up these drip and nurture campaigns through MailChimp or whatever your favorite, that will send out an email based on whatever, you know, requirements you want on a time frame that you set up. They're called triggers, and you can just keep educating. And I'll tell you, it's an average of 8 emails over the course of a certain number of months, often before somebody becomes our customer. And many of you actually have heard of us before and over, and finally you said, okay, I'll bite, and you became our customer. That process is important because it happens in the background while you're not thinking. And just when you're working on some marketing, all of a sudden you have a customer that signed up that you met 6 months ago, because your drip and nurture campaigns are working in the background automatically. And whether or not you follow up with a lead, whenever somebody signs up for a webinar, it automatically gets created into the leads. We can have it automatically create a task or send an email if we want, but we don't. We actually take those people that went to the webinar and we put them into a segment on MailChimp. And if we wish, we can send them an email thanking them specifically for coming to this particular event and asking them if they'd like to come to other events that might be applicable or complimentary. There's so many things you can do with that type of information, and it's really easy to gather. You just have to sit down and put it together. And then there's assigning tasks and assigning responsibilities and all the different things that you need to do when somebody sends a request in for Panda Docs. I want it automatically to be assigned to Angela because that's her forte. There's so many things you can do where within an organization where you can assign the appropriate actions and tasks to the appropriate people automatically whenever possible. And when it's not automatic, at least you can do it manually using automated tools. And my favorite thing is managing your support system through a ticketing interface, conversational type ticketing interfaces. And what I mean by that, let's jump, we actually have a slide on that. And that slide is called support automation. And I love support automation. And I'm actually going to show it to you rather than demo it. I'm going to show you, when you go to schoolofbookkeeping.com, you see this little help thing at the bottom. Let me go to the home page. And I'm going to also open up, let's close these. Let's open up 74 also. So you can see there's one here and there's one here. Now they're both the same. And what I love about it is I have a shared knowledge system over my different brands. And you can either contact us directly here. We have a chat option, but we kind of got rid of that because we're not often available to chat and people weren't necessarily needing that. So they use this system to communicate with us. They put in their email subject, send us a message, and we put in here that we respond fast, which we do. And the reason why is because this system goes into our phones and it goes into a ticketing system that allows us to manage the response. It does send us an email, but we don't use an email client to access it. We use a specific app or web page designed just for support. And it's easy to train yourself to be very focused on dealing with those tickets, because when you have open tickets that need to be attended, like we have somebody that needs attention on their account right now. I know it's in the ticketing system. I don't have to go fish through my email to find it. I'll just go and look in pending tickets. And by the end of every day, generally, we close all tickets and solve all the issues. Now, the other thing that's neat about this is as you're typing things, the knowledge base will automatically start to answer your questions. And we just started launching this. But these are the various articles that we have in the knowledge base for this system. So you can self-help. And so if you want to learn more about the Ignite program, how do I schedule a meeting with you? You click on that and it tells you if you're a paid current client of 74 Systems. Now, you can go to the knowledge base itself and actually view it there, which is pretty neat. This is our knowledge base. And this starts off at support dot whichever, they all work. And our support at whatever email addresses also are our support email addresses, which automatically feed the ticket engine and create tickets for our customers. So you have a special email address that you specify just for support, and those things will automatically get ticketed. If somebody sends it to you directly, you can forward it to the ticketing. So you have ticketing combined with a support center with articles, self-help articles that you can continue to build out as you need them. And I'm going to start building these out like crazy. And this is branded and it's cross-platform for all of our different brands. Ignite Program, Ignite Method, 74, and School of Bookkeeping are all here. And no matter which one you use, you'll see the same thing. You see? School of Bookkeeping and 74 have the same setup. So support systems like this make your life easier and they automate, because at the end of the day, you need to be able to create a system that's not going to overwhelm you and not get you bogged down with dealing with things such as trying to find that particular email that has greater level of importance inside of an inbox that's cluttered with other types of content. And the other great part about it is having something that gives self-help. If you need to figure out how to schedule an appointment with us and you find it right there in the help desk, and that alleviates 60% of the support tickets that might get created for that question, anything that is repetitive that people ask of us on a regular basis, we just create an article, and when they start typing their message, it'll pop up and say, is this the answer? And they say, oh, never mind, I'm going to get the answer right now, and we never hear from them. We get very few tickets, just to let you know. Okay. So I'm going to bring up the other keynote, which I noticed earlier was playing. There we go. Okay, so we're back to this. All right. So that wraps up our module for today. We are going to extend this by the end of today. We will have the components you need up on the forums so that you can download them. You're going to get the PDF version of the diagram. We will put a comment in there for those of you that want to sign up for Lucidchart to be able to access that. We're also going to look into possibly adding users. I don't know if we can. We're going to definitely post the keynote or PowerPoint of the presentation that you need to be able to develop your own marketing plan. And then we're going to ask that you work on them. And you can do one of two things. You can either send us a collaboration link, meaning you can send an email to Eric@74Systems through the collaboration tools on either Keynote or PowerPoint and add us as a collaborator, and I will work with you on it. And or you can simply send us a PDF version of it once you get it done and have us critique it from there. We can also discuss it inside of the forums, okay? So I think collaboration would be really cool. Those of you that want to give that a try, just open up PowerPoint. There's a way to share with another. Put in Eric@74Systems as the share. Allow me to edit, and I will work with you on it directly. Okay, well, that officially concludes Module 3, the Ignite Marketing Plan. Today is June 26, 2017. I want to share with you that we are going to start a new cycle after we complete Module 6. And for those of you that are not aware, everybody that is in this first cycle is going to have access to all cycles. Meaning when we start Module 1 again, which will vary, we will change it because naturally it'll be the same focus, but it'll have some variances because things change and we want to make it better. So after you complete through Module 6, you'll have access to all the recordings of 1 through 6, and then a new cycle will shortly thereafter start, and it will start again with Module 1 with the same title, and that will continue through Module 6, and we will continue to do that through a full 365 days for you, and you will have access to all of them. Some of them will be recorded and either added or replace the existing ones that we have in the recorded library, and some of them won't. We're going to pick the best of the bunch. So our goal is perfection. We're never going to get there, but we're going to continue trying through cycles, and I hope that you find it to be very beneficial. Next week on Monday, and we are going to stick with Monday at 11 a.m., we will do Module 4, Marketing Spaghetti. We hope to see you then. Remember, if you're just interested and you're catching this through YouTube or anywhere else and you want to join the Ignite method, you can do it at any time, start at any module as we continue to cycle throughout. We have 3 different versions: recorded only, live, which includes 1 cycle only. You start at 1 through 6 or start at 3 through 2. Doesn't matter where you start, you get 1 cycle. And then we have the ongoing live, which allows you to cycle with us and watch every single module from start to finish for a period of 365 days. We look forward to seeing you on July 3rd. We hope not to make any changes, but you never know. And we will let you know about that, of course. For Module 4 Marketing Spaghetti, I'm Eric Greenspan, and I am out of here. Good luck. Ignite.